Okay guys, just want to show you this. I made homemade ricotta for our cake we're making. And you can see here, it's just 2 gallons. I'm not finished scooping it all out, but the video is on my YouTube page. The link is on the Andiamo alla Cucina page. So if you want to learn how to make it, to make your own cakes. I already got like maybe 1.5 pounds there out of 2 gallons and I'm not done. So take a look at that video if you want to make your own ricotta for this recipe. Hi everybody, welcome to Andiamo alla Cucina. Today we're going to be making a really delicious cake, summery cake. It's a blueberry cheesecake in the middle, and then a blueberry cake on the other layers. So we're going to get started with the ricotta cheesecake because that takes some time to cook in the oven. And it's got to set overnight. So this video is going to be actually in 2 parts. So you could actually pause and stop the video and do each thing in parts. So right now I have my ricotta and my cream cheese in here, as well as my sugar in the stand mixer. And I've been whipping that up just to save some time with the video because they get lengthy. And to this I'm going to add some lemon zest, because we really want that lemon and blueberry flavor, okay? So I'm gonna do roughly the whole lemon as far as the zest goes. And the nice thing about this is when you cut and slice the cake open, you're gonna have like a yellow cake with some blueberry in it, and then you're gonna have the blueberry cheesecake, which is gonna be purple. So you could decorate it with a mascarpone or Italian buttercream. I haven't decided yet. And we'll see. We'll see how we wind up doing the last bit of it. Of course, you know, I'll always post pictures. I want to welcome all the new followers to the page in this video. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing the page with your friends. Okay, so I think I got most of the lemon zest on here. I just want the skin of the lemon. I really don't want to get the white of it, so I think I got all of it. Yep. And then a couple other ingredients we're going to put in this is a little bit of lemon extract, probably like a 1/2 teaspoon. Let's see, a teaspoon. And since it's all about the lemons, we're gonna put in some limoncello. And this I'm gonna put maybe about 3 tablespoons. Okay. Put this away. You never know, I might get excited like, who was that cooking lady? Julia Julia Roberts used to do the cooking show. I think the last name was Roberts. But anyway, she would have wine every time she did a video or was live. So we're gonna give this another spin here. I can already smell the lemon. It smells really good. The ricotta is nice and whipped. I'll let you see what it looks like. And I'm actually gonna you see that there? And to this now we're gonna add about, I'd say it's about 1 cup of blueberries. They've been washed and rinsed. I'm just gonna let this blend a little bit more here. I'm gonna scrape down the sides. We still have to add the eggs in. And then with this cheesecake, I'm not going to do a base, I guess you just call it a base. I'm not going to have a crumb to the bottom of the cake because it's going to go in between the layers of cake. Just trying to get this all off the spoon here. Okay. So let's go ahead and add the blueberries in first. I want to get those whipped really good, so I'm going to pour them in here. I'm really excited about it because I think it looks really pretty. I mean, I could have taken this and put it in the blender. I'm trying to work smarter, not harder, and clean more. So I'm just going to let this whip until it breaks up all those blueberries. And if I need to, I mean, I could always do something else and get those blueberries. I could add a few more puree, but I think I'll be okay. Just gotta scrape them down. Scrape the sides of the bowl down. I'm gonna start adding in my eggs at this point because I think that'll help break down the blueberries too. I want to try to get the inside of this nice and purple and vibrant color because that's what summer's all about. Bright colors. The sun always makes people happy, right? Eggs. And you guys can see the recipe online. So one egg at a time. Let it get incorporated. And if you don't know what it means to let the egg get incorporated, you want it to blend throughout the whole batter so that it's even before you throw in your next one, okay? This is actually going to be so pretty when you see the end results, the decorations, stews. You know, the good thing about baking is that you can be creative. You can do whatever you'd like to make something your own. So, oops. So two fell in on that one, but that's okay. I'm just going to let it really blend in. Before I throw this last one in. I'm going to scrape the sides of the bowl down again. And if you notice that your batter is not really vibrant, you could throw in some more blueberries. That was about a cup. I'm kind of figuring that by the time I'm done with this, if I don't see the result that I want, I'll add a little bit more blueberries into it. And you could do this too with strawberries, raspberries. Just want to make sure the blueberries are not sticking to the paddle, that they're all in here so they could get mushed up. I'm also going to go ahead and add in a 1/4 cup of the heavy cream. And let this blend some more. And I'm going to divide this cheesecake. I usually actually do this in one 9-inch springform pan, but I'm going to use two regular 9-inch pans that are not springform because I'm not going to put a base. And then I let it set overnight so it's nice and really cold when I go to set it up in between the two cakes. That's something you always want to do. Don't cut corners. I tried to do a video one time where I was trying to finish the video. I didn't want to wait. I figured, oh, the cake's been there 4 hours. It'll be all right. It started to crack. Not that it was a big deal because it was in between the 2 layers of cake. So who's going to see that when you cut the cake anyway? But just giving you a piece of advice. Don't do that. And then once this cake is in the oven, I'll come back and we'll do the actual cake that's going to be surrounding the cheesecake. All right? I'm going to actually cut the video here because I'm just going to finish whipping this up and put it in the oven. Don't forget, when you're doing the cheesecake, you never want to open up the oven. It's got to be in there. Since I'm splitting this, usually it's 2 hours. I'm going to monitor it and make sure it sets before I shut the oven off. And then it's got to stay in the oven with the door pried open so that it slowly cools down in the oven. If you don't do that step, you're going to have problems. And then once that process is done, I'll leave it out for another about an hour or so to cool, totally cool, and then it'll go in the refrigerator. Okay. Hi guys, so we're back. The cheesecakes have stayed overnight, the blueberry cheesecakes. I did do them in a pan that is not a pan for a spring pan, which I'll show you. So this should be your end result, what it looks like, the blueberry cheesecake. You can see there's no cracks in it. I do have a paper on here, so that's why it looks like that. Once I pull it off, there's no cracks though. There's only a crease in it because of the paper that I lined the pan with, okay? And then that's what it looked like. You can see there's no cracks. And look at the size of the pan. It's not a springform pan. And it was baked without a crust. So it is able to be done if you follow the instructions. Because I'm going to use the same pan size to make the cakes. And we'll get started with that in a little bit, okay? All right, guys, it's time to make our cake. So I already have my butter and my sugar in the stand mixer. And I creamed it before I came on, mostly all the way so that I would save some time on the video. I also, this cake, this whole recipe is all about the lemons, okay? So in here I have my milk. I'm making a double batch, so I'm not gonna call out ingredients so I don't make a mistake and you guys hear one thing, I'll post it in the notes. So we're gonna put in that cup of milk, we're gonna put in, well, not a cup, because it's different for you guys. I'm doing a double batch. So in the milk, you're gonna put the lemon juice. And you'll let it sit to the side while we get everything else ready. Okay. Give this a little stir. Basically what we're making is buttermilk. When you put lemon into milk, that's exactly what you're doing. Alright, so that's sitting there. To the butter and the sugar, I'm going to add my lemon zest. In this recipe as well, we're going to decorate and we're going to add a filling of lemon curd. I do have a video on the page for lemon curd if you want to make it. It doesn't take more than like 10 minutes tops, 10-15 minutes to make it. And it's really worth it to make it. But if you don't want to make it, you want to buy your lemon curd, you can do that as well. So my butter and my sugar are nice and pale, which looks really good. I already sifted most of my flour, my cornstarch, baking powder, salt. I'm just finishing off the last of it. And just a few little balls here of flour that I'm just going to throw out. I also have my blueberries here, tossed with flour, so that they don't sink to the bottom, and I guess I'm wearing flour. So they don't sink to the bottom of the cake once we fold it in. Now to this here, we're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. And remember, if you see me doing something different, it's because I'm doing a double batch. I am gonna put in some lemon extract as well. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm gonna do next, right? Some limoncello. About a tablespoon. Alright, so since everything is sifted, I got the milk here sitting and lemon zest went in. We're going to start to put our dry ingredients in along with alternating with some milk. So I'm going to slow this down because remember we're putting in flour, sorry. And when you put flour in, you know what happens. It all comes flying. So I am going to shut this off a little bit just to add in some of it. And let it mix on low, and then I'll start adding a little bit of time. Just so I get this up to speed. There we go. Now I'm gonna lower it. And you see I'm just putting in a little at a time. And remember, I'm doing double batch, so if this looks a little odd to you, that's the reason why. I'm gonna add in a little bit of the milk. And more flour. I'm going to add the rest of the milk in. And while this is mixing a little bit here, before I put the rest of the flour and the eggs in, I want to show you my lemon curd. So I made this earlier, and it's in a separate video, but look how beautiful. Nice and thick. You see that? It barely moves in the bowl. So it's really nice. It's got a wonderful flavor. We're gonna do a layered cake, some of the Italian whipping cream, Italian buttercream, I should say, Italian buttercream around the sides. And then I'm gonna put in a little bit of the lemon curd, ring around of that around, and then I'm gonna put the Italian buttercream in the middle. So at least it'll be like on the sides of the cake, when you cut it, you'll see the white buttercream, you'll see a ring of lemon curd, and then you'll see a nice ring of the lemon buttercream again, the Italian buttercream icing, and then we'll decorate with some of the lemon curd on top of the cake at the finishing. I'm really happy with the cheesecake, the way that came out, because it's It's nice and firm. I didn't use a spring pan because there's no bottom to it. There's no like crust base, like biscotti or whatever, any of that stuff. So I'm gonna start adding in some of these eggs too. I just have a little bit of flour left that I'm just going to throw in a second. And that takes care of that. Get that out of the way. Okay, put this back on low because we have the flour in there. I want to get that incorporated before it goes flying all over the place. Even on low, it comes up. The rest of the eggs are gonna go in now. And we're gonna scrape down the sides of this bowl too. I think I want to switch to the paddle instead of this whipping one at this point because I think it just gets too caught up. So let's see if I get this stuff out. Give me 1 second. Just gonna check and see if I could scrape this, get this stuff out. It's one thing I hate about these, that stuff gets stuck in it and you gotta make sure you get it out so everything gets incorporated correctly. Okay. Hope you guys are enjoying the recipes. I'd like to see some of you guys post what you've done. Post your pictures. Tell me how it came out for you. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So I'm happy with my batter, the consistency of it. And I'll tell you, this cake is all about the lemons for me. I love lemons. Anything lemon is good. And I'm making somewhat of a mess today. Okay. I'm gonna rinse my hands while this is spinning. Okay, I think that's well. We're gonna undo this here and we're gonna fold in the blueberries. I'm gonna grease my pans real quick. Put some flour in it. I use a spray in them and then some flour. And I'll show you guys what I do. So I put the cooking spray and I put some flour and I'm just gonna toss it around. Keep going round and round, make sure I cover everything. And I am making a little bit of a mess here, I know. And the excess, since I already put some in the other one, I'll just throw this out. So that's ready to go. You could put a piece of parchment paper on the bottom if you needed to as well. I did that with the cheesecakes. You see there's a little crease in the bottom of it, which is fine, I mean, but there was no cracks in the cheesecake. They came out beautiful, not even being in the spring pan, which I'm so happy that I get that result. I don't know how everybody else does, but I do get a great result with it. And of course, we let those set real nice today. Once these cakes come out of the oven, I'm gonna let them cool off really good, and then I'm gonna place them in the refrigerator, okay? For about maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Let them get really cold before I start assembling them. So, this way it'll be easier when you go put the frosting on them. All right, we're taking this apart. Okay, let's let this all off. Now I'll be making a lemon simple syrup because I want this cake to be flavorful of lemon. You don't have to put that on your cake if you don't want to, but I will, so I will have that when we come back with the prepared cakes. Okay, so you can see the batter, how nice it is. Nice and fluffy. Okay, so now we're gonna take these blueberries that are coated with flour, dump them in, and we are going to just fold them. Okay. And yes, I'm constantly washing my hands, I know. Someone told me, you're always washing your hands and putting stuff in the sink. I like my work area free of anything that I'm not supposed to have near me, so I don't wind up putting in something that shouldn't have been put in. That's why it's important. I always tell you guys, measure your items beforehand, put them in little dishes, so then you could just work with putting it together. So you see here, I'm just folding the blueberries in, trying not to break any. Okay, it looks good. And now we're gonna put these into the pans, and then we're gonna bake these off. Okay. You guys don't have to watch me put them in the pan, so I'll get these going, and then once we're done with the cooking of these, we'll assemble our cakes. Also, if you need to make the Italian buttercream, you can find that recipe on the DiSerno Italian cheesecake, the velvet DiSerno Italian cheesecake. You could find it, I believe on that one, the ingredients are there and how to do it. It's very simple, but I'll be doing that too in between the baking of the cake, cleaning up the kitchen. I'll be working on that as well because it's gonna take time to cool, okay? All right, guys, so the cakes are out of the oven. I already cut it in half. It was sitting in the refrigerator for a nice bit because I wanted them cold. I don't want them really warm because the icing, it takes hard to adapt to the cake, like to attach itself. If it's warm, then you just have issues. So if you let it get nice and cold, it'll work better. I piped the icing in the bag. It's Italian Buttercream. It's on the Facebook page, Andiamo alla Cucina, and it's also in the YouTube channel, Andiamo alla Cucina. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pipe some of the Italian buttercream in a circle, right around the edges. Really nice and even there. I'm gonna do one more. because I want to add lemon curd to this. You can see the video for that too if you want to make your own or if you want to buy it. Up to you. I like to make my own, as you know, I guess already. All right, so we got the two sort of rings there. Here's the lemon curd that I made. Look how nice and thick. I really wanted to pipe this, to be honest with you. I don't want to like plop this onto the cake, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that anyway. And this is very lemony, so it's really nice. It's gonna give that nice flavor to the cake. So I'm gonna spread this on, just a thin layer, but enough to give that real lemon, like, how do they say it? That smucker that makes your lips just smack together taste. So there we go with the lemon curd. Now time to put the blueberry cheesecake on top of this. Just got to take off the paper. I do like using that lining, that little bit of a liner. I think it's nice. All right, let me try to grab this cake. Which is not going to be easy at this point. Let me move some of this stuff out of my way. Oh boy. This is a little rough to do. Okay, I'm gonna work with that, putting it on here, and then I'll be back in a moment, and we'll put on the next layer, okay? Just bear with me. All right, guys, I got the cheesecake on. I did the other, what do you call it? Ring of the Italian Buttercream Icing. I'm putting another little thin layer here of the curd. Like I said, I think this will give a nice little kick to it because it is very lemony. If you've never made this or had it, try it. It's really, really good. Okay. All right. Now time to get the last layer on top. I always have a fear with this, putting it on. Okay, there we go. Nice, it's all meeting on the sides here. It looks nice and even. If it's not even, just move it around a little bit till you get it even, okay? This is my work plate, so I don't care. Afterwards, I'll transfer it to something a little bit nicer. And then I'll take pictures. So we're gonna do just a light, give me 1 second. I'm gonna do a crumb coat around it with the icing, and then we're gonna put it back in the fridge and let it sit a nice while. And then we'll go and put the second layer the full, the fuller icing on top. So this is just to let this adhere to the cake. This is not the finished touch. We just want to get a thin layer on it, because once it's cold, this buttercream will adhere better to the buttercream that's on there already, okay? So just a thin coat. And we'll do that around the sides. It takes me time to decorate, I'll be honest with you, because I'm new at decorating. Like, it's not my thing, but I'm learning and I'm having fun while I learn. Like I said, just a thin coat, and then I will come back and I'll put a nicer coat on to cover all these little nooks and crannies. But I will post the finished touches, the finished product. Once I'm done with it, I'll put my pictures up. I'll take my time with this, decorating it nicely. And then I'll post this. I've been posting quite a few things the last couple of days. And again, don't worry about being perfect on the first coat of it. Depending on what you're going to do to decorate it, like I might put a bunch of rosettes on this, I might do some zigzags, I don't know. I'll know more or less when I go to put that second coat. The good thing about the Italian buttercream is that it is very stable. You could leave it out in a container. And it'll stay, or you could refrigerate it. I've heard some people freeze this, and they say when they throw it out, they just whip it again. I've never done it. I try to use what I have. Okay, so this is it for now. Like I said, this is gonna go back in the fridge. I'm gonna have this get nice and cold, and then I'll come back and I'll put the rest of the finished touches on it, and I'll post pictures, okay? I wanna thank you guys again for tuning in, watching, supporting me. I appreciate it. Make sure you invite your friends to the page so we get more support. And as always, trying to keep the Italian traditions as much as we can so we could teach others, okay? And share them. I know there's a lot of people that, you know, didn't pay attention to their parents when they were growing up, so they didn't pick up a lot of the stuff. So I try to share everything so that the generations can continue to share, and that we're not a dying culture of recipes. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much.